Hello. Okay, I am super excited about this project. I, like many of you probably, am a fan of Pinterest and just kind of looking through ideas. I base a lot of the things that I make off of current trends and just pictures that I see. Like I said, I use Pinterest a lot. And one of the things that I've been pinning a lot is the look of like the collared shirt underneath the sweater. I love the look of it. I think it looks very classy and very just like chic and put together to have a little pop of the collared shirt with the hanging down and all of that. I think it looks great. I have a couple of pictures of what I had in mind. So I love that look. However, there's a few things. One, I live in Arizona, so I cannot wear a lot of layers because even in the winter here, it's not super cold. But also, I don't like the feeling of lots of layers underneath me. I don't like anything getting bulged up in my crevices. I don't want things to be like bulky right here. So I like the look of it. Like when I look at a modeled picture, I like how they look. However, I don't necessarily love layering a button-up shirt and then a sweater. It's just not super comfortable for me. Like I said, I don't need a lot of that extra warmth, and I don't love the bulkiness. So I had this idea. What if I took my husband's old dress shirt, some fabric, and the Tabitha top pattern from Love Notions and made kind of like a faux look. It's just gonna be one layer, but it's gonna look like it's two. So that's what I'm going for. I've never done this before. A lot of times when I sew, I'm just kind of winging it, and that's what I'll be doing today. But I'm gonna take you along for the ride. Okay, so now that you know what I'm going for, let's talk about what I'm gonna do. So I have my pattern pieces already cut. Based off my measurement, I measure an extra small. I do typically grade out for my hips. I grade out to a small because proportionally my hips are bigger than my top. But I did not do that with this case. I just did a straight extra small because another thing that I should note, I don't love tunics. Like I don't love things hitting me right here. You can probably tell, kind of wearing whatever, but this is my largest part of my body for me personally, my hips. So when I feel like when I end things right here, that it's just drawing attention to the part of my body that I don't always love the most. So I like to avoid drawing attention to this. So what I want to do, my pants, these are kind of more high-waisted. I'm kind of hoping to end the sweater around my waistband and then having the shirt tails hang down lower. So then that way, this is where the eye is gonna go. The eye is gonna go to a more, in my opinion, a more flattering part of my body. So that's what I'm gonna go for. I kind of was playing around with this pattern piece last night. I'm going to cut it here, I believe. This is, if I had the pattern at a full length, it would end, like you can see, sorry I bent it, it's gonna end right there, which again, I'm gonna try to avoid. So I kind of just loosely folded it up. I am going to end it, I'm going to cut it right here. I may end up shortening it, but I figure it's better to cut it a little longer and then shorten it. So for this is probably about 3 inches that I'm taking off. I will measure it, but I'm going to just shorten it a little bit. I'll cut the pattern and then I'll try it on. So let me get that started. I'm not making any changes to the actual shirt pattern piece. Everything else is going to be the same. So I will get to that point and then I'll meet up with you. Okay, so I'm just touching base. What I have done is this pattern calls for a neck binding. So I use, sorry, it's on me and I'm being lazy, but I just used a regular knit fabric that I had in my stash that was close enough in color. This sweater knit fabric I didn't think would be as easy to work with. So I sewed that on, but I have not like top stitched it down yet. Oops. Because I wanted to play around with the collar. I mentioned that I was gonna kind of see where we're at. This shirt this button-down shirt is from my husband's closet, so it's big, which is fine. I kind of like the big collar anyway, so I was just trying to play around to see if I could get it on and off and kind of how I could do it. I was thinking about adding this collar before I top stitched it, just to reduce the number of stitch lines that I need to do. So I'm going to loosely cut this collar, but the under, I'm gonna cut the collar off like in a circle, and I'm gonna see about just trying to attach it on. So I'm gonna kind of play around with this. I've never done this before, but I do think it would be really cute if I could have that collar there. So I'm gonna play around with it and I'll kind of show you what I end up doing. Here I just cut kind of a loose oval shape so that I have less fabric to work with to place the collar. Okay, so I wanted to kind of secure this binding down without actually sewing it. So I personally used just Elmer's glue and glued it down. It's washable glue, I don't know, I use it a lot. You could also use like hem tape, that easy stretch hem tape or whatever. Okay, and I marked the centers. I'm trying to lay that down. I'm going to, and I marked the center back of here. I don't know if that will help. You guys, I'm just gonna wing it. I checked to make sure that I could get this on and off my head with that stitch right there. So that's kind of what I'm gonna try to do. I'm just gonna kind of line up this stuff center-wise. I don't know. I tried to see if there was an easier way to do this or a more professional looking way. But I could not think. So I'm going to base this on or stitch it, and then I will end up going around and serging it at the bottom. But first, let's see if this will even work. This could be a total bust, and that happens sometimes. So I'm gonna play around with this so I kind of see if I can get it positioned. So the center is pretty marked up there. Back here, the centers are marked up. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go around and I'm gonna stitch around here. And I'll probably use my double needle just to make it look a little nicer. And that's what we'll try. Okay, really quick before I sew it, I tried it on one more time with all the pins in it, and you can probably see I have makeup on it. It was a little tight. So what I'm gonna do is actually, I took that stitch out. I'm just gonna loosely overlap it like this, so that way I still have some stretch in the neck right here. And I think that will look just fine, and then that way I can get it on and off without taking off half my makeup. So, okay, so I think I got it to work. This is what it looks like from the inside. I use my cover stitch, I couldn't think of the word. I use my cover stitch to stitch that on. So, and then I cut off the excess and just serged it really quick. So, I can get it on and off. I did have to wipe some makeup off from when I was trying to get it on before. So, this is what we have there, the one that's on. Goodness sakes, it looks like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the sleeves on, and then I'll get ready to do the bottom part. All right, okay, this is where we're at. Tuck those inside there. Okay, so I have my collar on, the sides sewn up. I am super happy. I will say this fabric is probably not as stretchy as it should be, so I feel like my arms are a little bit tight. So I'm gonna play around with that a little bit. But it does have the slim look like I wanted. It has my collar popped out. What I'm gonna do next is work on the shirt tail hems, right? So I just want to figure out how long I want these to be, because this will get folded under. And I'm gonna play around with the length. I think I want this to end right at the top of my jeans, and I'll have the shirt tails hanging down. I will be using the pattern piece for the width of them, but I would probably, there's a good chance I may make it longer. So I'm gonna play around with it and kind of see where I want it to end. Ideally, I would like them to kind of come up and hit like right there, I think. I'll probably do it like this long. So, to be honest, I think I will be using the pattern piece. So I'll probably go ahead and just use that. I'm gonna use the shirt. What I'll be doing is buttoning it and treating that. I'm just gonna use the already established hem, so I don't actually have to hem it. So I'm gonna use this and I'll end up sewing the sides because I won't want it as wide as what this shirt is. But I'm really excited about it. It's looking cute. Okay, so in case you haven't noticed, I'm trying to make this as quick as I can while using, the great thing about refashioning something is using the pre-existing seams. So I kind of have these placed here. I'm gonna go an extra inch. Again, I'd rather cut things bigger than smaller. So I think I'm just gonna cut this off and I'm going to see about sewing the sides there to kind of keep the shirt tail. So I'm gonna cut it and kind of play with it on the shirt to see if I can do it so I can keep this hem without needing to re-hem anything. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I have the bottom of the shirt. I'm lining it up, matching it up center. So I mark the center with a pin of the shirt as well as the center of the Tabitha sweater. I'm lining that up and then I'm gonna come over here and I'm going to sew this, oopsie, everything is very messy. I should probably move that. And sew this straight down. And the same thing over here. Straight down. Okay, so I'm going to sew straight here and straight here, so that way it'll be the width of my sweater. Okay, so now I have my shirt right side out, and what I'm going to do is take this shirt tail hem, the bottom part of the dress shirt, I'm going to match it up right sides together. So I'm going to take it and slide it up, making sure that I'm paying attention to the front and the back. So I'm matching up the raw edges right sides together. I'm gonna start by just matching up the seams and get ready to sew this. This part is very similar to what the written instructions are in the pattern. It's just a little bit different because, like I said, I'm using the bottom of a shirt already, so the bottom part looks a little different. But essentially, you're just lining this up, raw edges matching right sides together, and we'll sew along this, and then it will get folded up to kind of make a faux hem. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that part, and I'll be back. Okay, so now that it's all sewn, this is what it looks like. What my plan is at this point, I'm gonna kind of take this fabric and fold it down and sew along here, so that way this is kind of like a faux hem right here. Like it'll be a separate flap. So I'm going to try it on and we'll decide how long I want it. Okay, so I have it on. A couple of things. You know how I left a little extra seam allowance on here? I'm going to use that because one mistake I made is I went straight down with that stitch line and I should have angled out for my hips. So, but what I'm gonna do, so this is just straight down. I'm going to take this, I'm going to fold it up, and this is my natural waist, so that's kind of where I want this to go. And I'm going to end up, like I said, I'm just going to put a pin here. I'm gonna end up stitching along this line. Sorry, okay, give you an idea. So I'll measure it and make it even, but I'm gonna end up sewing along the line here, and then that will bring it up to my waist. I'll do the same thing back here. So that way it ends up kind of just being a casual hem. So I will go ahead and do that, and then I have to hem the sleeves, and I'm all done. So I am a fan for how this turned out. Obviously, I was winging some of it, but I think this is a fun way to pull off that layered look without having to wear the layers. So I'll be back when it's all done. Okay, so to make this faux hem, as I would call it, or a waistband, I am going to measure 2 inches, go all around and pin it so that I'll have a 2-inch fold on the actual sweater knit part. Once I have it all pinned in place, I will grab a glue stick just to kind of keep the fold lined up and in place, so as I sew it, it won't slip or wrinkle. This is washable glue, so once I wash it, the residue will go away, so it works out well for many projects. Okay, so that was just a quick look at how I folded it, and what I'm going to do now is top stitch it. I'm gonna go, so I folded it 2 inches. I'm gonna go ahead and stitch it like 1 3/4 inches. So I'm gonna just draw a line, do white chalk. And this is where I will take my cover stitch and I'll go along there. And this will kind of be like a faux sweater hem. Okay, it's all done. I am pretty in love with it. So, like I said, I kind of did that faux little hem right there. And I don't know, I think it's super comfortable. It would be kind of fun if you even like could add like cuffs to it or something, but this is, I didn't want it to get too bulky. I kind of like the slim fit of how this looks. So I think I'm gonna need to make more.